Yuck! Smell it again! That's disgusting!
That's my ass!
Who's driving? It's over 9. What? Trap car!
Additional.
Use the boots to get it!
No, no, no!
Huh? What the f?
Hello again everyone, this is Bionic Slime. I am your online voice for reviews of your choice, and welcome to BS Reviews. Today we take a look at Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is brought to you by Pixar and Walt Disney Studios and was directed by Lee Unkrich and written by Michael Ardent and John Lasseter. Stars the vocal talent of Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, Joan Cusack as Jessie, Ned Beatty as Lotso, Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head, Michael Keaton as Ken, Wallace Shawn as Rex, John Ratzenberger as Ham, and Jodie Benson as Barbie. The plot of Toy Story 3. Andy has finally grown up into a full-grown man and is going off to college, which leads him to the dilemma of what to do with all of his old toys, who are all feeling very sore and scared that Andy will throw them away and never play with them again. In an unfortunate mix-up involving a trash bag and a daycare center donation box, the toys get delivered to a place called Sunnyside Daycare, where they think it's actually quite a nice place, run by Lotso, a very kindly and friendly bear who says that toys can get played all their lives here in a daycare center, and they get all the luxuries of life. Woody, however, still wants to go back to Andy and refuses to accept that Andy has given up on him and the toys. The other toys, including Buzz, however, feel that their lives would be better in Sunnyside. Unfortunately, they find out that there's something really weird going on in Sunnyside Daycare, and that not everything is as peachy, pretty as Lotso says it is. So now Woody must try and break all of his friends out of Sunnyside Daycare Center and try to win Andy's heart back and not to be forgotten. Review of the plot. You know, Pixar has never been famous for creating sequels out of its films. I mean, none of them have had sequels except Toy Story. Well, except for Cars and Monsters, Inc., but that's in the future. Making sequels is very hard because it's almost nearly impossible to duplicate the magic that you created in the first film again and again and again. And most film series gets worn out and just ridiculed by its fans because they feel that they're made by unnecessary sequels. Well, Toy Story sequels, especially number 3, are anything but unnecessary. I can't believe it. I never thought it was possible, but in truth, you really can't doubt Pixar because they did it again, and Toy Story really does create a magical, incredible story that just feels just as fresh and new as it did when this film first came out in 1995. I mean, it's been 11 years since Pixar has had Toy Story back on the big screen, and they just did a fantastic job here, creating a story that still brings old elements from the first film, such as toys feeling upset about not being played again and having their kids grow up and leave them behind. But they still mix it in a way that's creative, new, and offers lots of new characters that teach very good moral lessons and deep emotions, as well as making it fun and fresh for kids and adults of all ages. And that's a really friggin' hard thing to do, but by God, Toy Story does it. It's amazing because we feel like we've grown up with these characters over the years for such a long time. We feel attached and associated with them. And we really care about seeing what happens to them. I think that's what the magic of this movie really does. We've grown to care about these characters as if they are our own family members. And we get so choked up and shocked when we see what happens to them and what goes through them. And I gotta say, this movie really chokes you up. There are several very powerful, emotional, almost tear-jerker scenes in this film that I did not think was really that possible. I mean, Pixar's made great work before, but to make it 3 times with a one film series, it's really impressive. And it just goes to show you how well written the story is, and how even with these same characters you still make it fun and fresh. Hell, the first opening sequence alone is going to make you laugh your balls off and love it all over again. It's really amazing how well this story can capture that magic again and again and again. Review the characters. Now, one thing that's always been great about Toy Story is that it has always had a phenomenal cast. I mean, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as Woody and Buzz Lightyear are iconic, infamous. You could not have this movie without them. And I really think this film shows the split nature of this character's relationship, as well as where these characters feel in terms of their lives. I mean, Woody gives a really amazing performance to Tom Hanks here because he deals with a lot of problems, and he does it really, like, realistically, like very emotional, like a real person would. I mean, the whole movie, Woody is constantly supporting Andy, and yet there are so many times when he's clearly struggling with this. And it just goes credit to Tom Hanks of how he can make the character seem that much more real, even though he's just a little toy cowboy. Tim Allen, again, has some great scene-stealing moments with Buzz Lightyear. I mean, it's amazing how funny this character is, and my god, the Spanish scenes with Buzz Lightyear are friggin' hysterical. I was so laughing my balls off when I saw this. I mean, this character just never cannot be funny. It's just great. I also really adored Joan Cusack as Jessie, mainly because one of the surprise perks I found in this movie was the adorably interesting and amused relationship between Buzz Lightyear and Jessie. Yes, they're actually proposing toys can have a couple relationship. And they did it in such a way that it seems funny and still charming at the same time. In fact, I thought some of their scenes was not only some of the more funniest, but the most cute and enduring of the whole film. And another big new one is the new bear character, Lotso, played by Ned Beatty, who really gives a great voice to this character. I mean, just such a perfect tone that just fits the character's appearance and personality. And it's great because the way he delivers his lines, there's no way you could believe this character is up to any kind of shady tricks or business at all. And yet he still is, but I mean, it's so convincing. I mean, everyone in the Toy Story gang has always been great. Wallace Shawn as Rex, Don Rickles as Hathead, John Ratzenberger as Ham. I also love Michael Keaton as Ken, who is by far one of the funniest new characters in the whole friggin' film. Ken's thing with Barbie and Jodie Benson, it's so freaking funny. I mean, I did not think these characters would be that hilarious, but once you see them on the screen, they really do a great job. And there's a lot of new characters from the new toys and older toys that they bring up, and it's just amazing they can hold this cast together and really do it well. Review of the animation and the music. Animation looks just great. The toys with their new designs and color schemes make it look even better. I mean, they've come a long way since 1995, and it's just incredibly, and they've just created a magnificent array of beautiful visuals and just incredible cartoon drawn and incredibly drawn characters. I mean, the opening sequence alone is an amazing testament to how badass the animation is. They've just created a magnificent array of beautiful visuals and incredibly drawn characters. I mean, the opening sequence alone is an amazing testament to how badass the animation is. Music was excellent, especially in this opening segment where they show this video camera of Andy's life and how they cut off the song to "You've Got a Friend." It's one part. It's just beautifully edited so well. It really gets the emotions down in this film, and this film's all about emotion, which the music really knows how to play up. Half these scenes wouldn't have been even nearly as emotional if it wasn't for the good musical sword that accompanied it. I mean, and I gotta say, I really didn't think this movie would be that emotional, but it really was, and it played out so well that it just blew me away. Flaws about the film. The only main thing I had an issue with was the difficulty in discerning what's the appropriate mood for a scene. Because this film definitely has more jokes than the previous two Toy Story films did. More of the novelty and amusing gag one-liners are in here, which is fine. But the problem is sometimes it kind of mixes incorrectly with the amusement of the scene. I mean, they try to make certain things more serious, but it's hard because it's done in a comical way. For example, when they're showing the toys trying to break out of the daycare center, it's hard to take it seriously with the dramatic effect from the way the film plays it out. I mean, these characters are very comical and cartoon looking, and it makes them a little too bubbly to be taken seriously, even though the film is trying to play these incidents out as a serious thing. I mean, even when the toys are being manhandled by the little preschool toddlers, we can appreciate that it's horrible what's being done to them, but at the same time, it's hard to take it as an emotional, serious level because of the silly, cartoony way it's being presented. It's not a bad thing, it's just hard to discern. I think it's something that the movie creators didn't really expect to create, and it's just something I found that was kind of difficult to wrap my head around, so to speak. Final wrap up. At times, it is hard to take this film seriously on the emotional level. I mean, only a couple times, because the whole thing is filled with cartoon, colorful, bubbly-looking characters that are very cute and adorable looking. And at times, it's hard to take that seriously even when they're trying to be serious, which Toy Story films have had a habit of becoming. But all in all, there's just really too much good to ignore that one bit. There's just such fantastic work here being done with the animation and the characters. This is a fantastic story that was beautifully invented with the greatest amount of freshness, creativity, and above all else, emotion. It's amazing how far they push the emotional needles into your heart and still make you care for these characters no matter how many years it's been since you last see them. You got great work from everyone as always. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, brilliant. I love Joan Cusack. Ned Beatty was a really great new character as Lotso. I loved Michael Keaton as Ken. That was just friggin' hysterical. You got so much imagination and creativity here. And the best thing I love about this film is that it doesn't conform to Disney cliches. I mean, I'm not saying this movie has a bad ending or anything. What I'm saying is that this film does not sacrifice its story integrity just for a cheesy ending. It settles it in a way that you feel satisfied and happy and appropriate to the storyline without conforming to some sort of silly Disney picture-perfect rule. And that's saying something. Bottom line, I give Toy Story 3 4 stars out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.